Jalen Ramsey and Golden Tate's bad blood reached a new territory that I'm confident in saying we've never explored in our universe of beefers. It's a beef well seasoned with the finest of ingredients: scorned family members, social media jabs, and scandalous drama off the football field. Shit got real. Ramsey and Tate have the perfect components for an NFL beef. Ramsey's a shutdown defensive back and known prolific trash talker who doesn't back down from anyone. Tate's a receiver who mocks his defenders like his life depends on it. It's a classic recipe for disaster because of their positions, but they would have beefed no matter if Ramsey were a kicker and Tate played left guard. While their beef reached far beyond the field, when it came to a head with them throwing hands in 2020, the least surprising thing was Ramsey being at the center of the feud. Since his college years at Florida State University, Ramsey welcomed any animosity with open arms, ready to scrap by any means necessary, even with his teammates. In 2014, head coach Jimbo Fisher kicked Ramsey out of practice for being too physical and threatened that his career at FSU may be over. That might seem like an overreaction from old Jimbo, but Ramsey often fought his teammates like he was ticking off a punch card for a free meal. Tussle with a running back here, shove a receiver there, destroy a tight end in a non-tackling drill. Just 6 more incidents and he would have had himself a free burrito. When he wasn't exchanging blows with his own teammates at practice, Ramsey agitated the hell out of his competitors. He would go as far as sliding into the DMs of his opponent's girlfriends just to elicit a reaction. It's grimy behavior, but Jalen simply didn't care. When drafted 5th overall to the Jaguars in 2016, Ramsey matured in his own unique way and acknowledged he gave up the DM approach as most NFL players had wives, but he certainly found other ways to piss people off. Ramsey continued to get under his opponent's skin, including AJ Green, one of the more reserved receivers in the league. He didn't discriminate when it came to dissing his opponents though. And outside of calling out receivers by name, he took unsolicited shots at anyone he saw fit. Especially quarterbacks around the league who he thought were either overrated, sucked, or just straight up trash. That's all from one interview, by the way. Detroit Lions QB Matt Stafford was one of the rare players that came away from Ramsey's fiery rant being described as, meh, he's alright. It would seem like a win for Stafford considering how Ramsey ripped other quarterbacks, but as a member of the Lions, Tate got asked about Ramsey's comments and stood up for his QB. Tate shot back at Ramsey's criticism, reminding people of their matchup in 2016 and how Ramsey was spotted on the sideline crying during a loss. Calling out Ramsey for weeping on the sideline seemed like the perfect haymaker to kickstart their beef, but Tate didn't say anything shocking. Ramsey wore his emotions on his sleeve and wasn't afraid to explicitly express how he felt at all times, even if it meant showing up to Jaguars training camp in a Brinks truck. After a rough fallout with the organization in 2019, Ramsey landed with the Rams, but even with a beautiful change of scenery, he stuck to his hating-ass ways and even got back to fighting his teammates. The dude was a beef connoisseur who sought out an altercation nearly every time he did an interview or stepped onto a field. So Tate taking a simple jab at Ramsey's mentality wasn't anything special. Plus, their issues with each other revolved around their personal lives anyway. It's a unique slow-age beef dating back to their hometown, Nashville, Tennessee. Tate is older and attended Pope John Paul II, a Catholic high school outside of the city, while the younger Ramsey starred at Brentwood Academy. By the time Ramsey hit his freshman year at Brentwood, though, Tate snagged passes in college at Notre Dame. But his younger sister Brianna attended Brentwood at the same time as Ramsey. Jalen and Brianna became extremely close, and although people try to classify them as high school sweethearts, Jalen said their relationship didn't grow until later and developed into the two having children together. On the surface, Golden's relationship with Jalen seemed solid. In the same interview where Ramsey savagely critiqued nearly every QB in the league, the article led off with Tate's sister telling Ramsey that her family would beat his in a game of flag football. Ramsey, of course, shot that notion down, calling her family too short and how he'd score over everyone, especially Golden. Golden caught one of those comments and shot back saying Jalen would have to match his quickness or it's a wrap. It was only playful banter between the two families because Golden went on to give Jalen a glowing review. He spoke about how much he loved watching Jalen play and admired his trash talk. More importantly, Golden was happy Jalen was a part of the family and he loved him. But that love swiftly faded. Stick with me because it's about to get messy. In 2019, Ramsey allegedly ended his longtime relationship with Brianna while pregnant with their second child, leaving her to date a Las Vegas dancer. Allegedly is used very loosely because Ramsey later posted a photo of his new bae on Instagram, which is the closest thing to marriage nowadays. I ain't here to judge anyone, but if Ramsey actually stopped the whole DMing his opponent's girlfriend's thing because he felt it was a step too far, then leaving your pregnant girlfriend for a dancer has gotta be some sort of gigantic leap of disrespect. And Golden took it as such. When the photo of Ramsey and his new girlfriend made waves across social media, a fan replied that Tate should have some words with Ramsey, to which Golden shot back from his official @Showtime Tate account saying, "He know he gonna have to see me." It's a very clear threat that doesn't leave much room for interpretation, and Golden later went on to say he never appreciated how Ramsey treated his sister, but left it at that. It may sound silly, but Tate's tweet helped define the type of person he had become during that moment in his career. I mean, the fact he said anything said a lot. Unlike Ramsey, Tate initially didn't find it necessary to trash his opponents, mainly because he didn't have the clout to do so. After being drafted in the second round by the Seahawks in 2010, Tate's most memorable moment in his first 3 seasons came from being the recipient of the controversial Hail Mary catch in 2012. In 2013, though, Tate had a breakout year and started to feel like he earned the right to talk a little smack. Tate didn't seek out drama in his first few seasons, but as he became more solidified as a receiver, he had more shouting matches aimed his way and wasn't afraid to bark back. Tate running his mouth even landed him a clean punch to the face during an incident with teammate Percy Harvin. Outside of talking though, Tate truly excelled at annoying his opponents by straight up mocking them. In the 2013 Week 8 matchup against the Rams, Tate caught a deep ball at the 40-yard line and proceeded to pull out a plethora of taunts before sarcastically waving goodbye as he reached the end zone. I'm not part of the taunting ruins the integrity of the game club, but celebrating before reaching the 35-yard line is absurd behavior, which lands a 10 out of 10 for me on the boldness scale. He later got fined for his shenanigans and acknowledged he needed to behave like he's been there before, but that's just who Tate was. He had become well known for his theatrics on the field, gaining the nickname Showtime Tate, which I'm pretty positive he dubbed himself because he uses it across all his social media handles. But either way, his excessive celebrations caused journalists to question his selfishness. The guy was a showman prepared to bust out a moonwalk into the end zone if the moment called for it, but ready to talk some shit if prompted, and defending his family ranked very high on that list. Except, unless Golden anticipated a squabble at the next Tate family function when he sent out his tweet in 2019, as a new member of the New York Giants, Tate and Ramsey weren't expected to face off that season. But the cursed COVID year of 2020 provided our beefers an opportunity to settle their differences under the bright lights and pumped-in crowd noise during a Week 4 showdown. Leading up to the game, neither Tate nor Ramsey addressed their issues to the media, but their positions made it nearly inescapable for them to avoid each other. Tate would finally get his wish of seeing Ramsey, but Jalen made his presence felt first. During the fourth quarter, Tate caught a pass out of the backfield, and before he had a chance to get busy upfield, Ramsey laid the perfect hit on him. Not only did Ramsey drive Tate to the ground like a goddamn WWE wrestler, but he lit up the blocker in Tate's way, leaving the announcer to speculate Ramsey's true intentions.
I believe there was a little extra in that Ramsey tackle.
While that hit might have been the first official blow on the field for their beef, after 4 quarters of play, that's all we got. But post-game is where the real action happens anyways. After briefly cutting the broadcast, Fox returned to the game with a shot of both teams at midfield in a massive brawl. It's difficult to point out exactly what sparked the fight, but reportedly Tate and Ramsey approached each other at midfield and scrapped it out, leaving their teammates to defuse the blow-up. Ramsey was so heated after the incident that he waited outside of the Giants' locker room for a chance at round 2 with Tate. After years of build-up, the only surprising thing is that it took the entire game for the two to go at each other's throats. Ramsey got fined for the incident, but after the fight, the two kept quiet about their beef for a while, at least publicly. It wasn't until 2022 that Ramsey truly opened up about his feud with Golden during an appearance on the Pivot podcast. Ramsey said the inceptive hate he had for Golden came after Tate's Twitter post, which he felt further exposed his family business to the public. Ramsey wanted to protect the mother of his children, and although he never really got along with Golden, that moment officially stamped he didn't like him. Ramsey went on to say the fight between the two was inevitable. Jalen understood Golden was a protective brother, but wanted Tate to realize that he and his sister had a family together whether he liked it or not. Despite the drama, Ramsey expressed that he and Brianna are working together to co-parent their 2 daughters. And being a girl dad exceeded anything he could ever achieve on the field. Entering 2022, that's where this beef stood. It became a one-sided affair led by the guy who showed he's more than happy to pop off at the mouth if prompted. Golden's out of the NFL, so we'll never get to see their rematch, but they'll be tied together forever. These are 2 stubborn individuals whose traits have taken over situations in the past. So if that Tate versus Ramsey family flag football game were to ever happen, there is no telling what could possibly go down. Hey yo, thanks for watching. I promised y'all some unique beef, so I hope it delivered. If you enjoyed this episode, we got plenty of more beef that just needs a little reheating, so make sure to chow down on those videos. Bye bye now.